Oh.
Wow. Looking at a 3D ultrasound from our listener from the Maybe Baby contest. Super sweet.
Okay.
All right. Reminding everybody to join us and waiting for a couple to join us. We'll just wait. Let's not wait. Let's just go. Just sitting here waiting is just like, that makes for a boring video, don't you think?
Where's the live studio audience?
I don't know. Maybe they're watching the debate. Let's just get started.
Okay.
Our ego has been crushed. Or maybe we're not on.
Nobody cares.
Maybe we're really not on.
No, we're on. But nobody cares.
Wow, that's tough. That's a bitter pill to swallow. All right. That's fine. We're going to have a podcast anyway, whether or not there's a YouTube audience or not.
Explains our sponsor situation.
All right. Here we go.
Well,
Alan still, for those not watching, he's going to come up with a dirty little lewd intro. Well, there's somebody. Abraham, Michael, hello. Christy, there we go. Kara, great.
hello, Christy Kincaid Norris.
Great. There are people here. That makes us feel better. We are few, but we are mighty.
Oh, Joe?
Sometimes it just takes a minute.
My man. Kara?
See, and I had him this
Michael?
close to starting. I had him this close.
Gary? Mikala? Julie?
I think that's a
Ina?
good,
Linda?
amount.
All right.
Good. Okay. The usual suspects.
Give me something.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Maurice Lester, please pick up the red courtesy phone. Mo Lester, please pick up the red courtesy phone. Mo Lester. Very best material.
That was good. That was a new one, at least. Welcome to another episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I am Kelly Raspberry Evans. My husband, let's gauge his enthusiasm level by the way he introduces himself. This is my husband and co-host, Alan Evans.
Hello, I'm Alan. A train in the house.
Okay, I'm just accepting that's the way it's going to be from here on out.
Have you noticed, though, it's building. It's building to a crescendo.
It is?
Yeah.
It seems exactly the same.
No. Go back and listen. I've been listening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's rising.
Okay, so it's coming.
Yeah.
We're getting back. Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
It's rising to a crescendo.
We're anxiously awaiting the return of the enthusiastic A-Train delivery. But until then, welcome to another episode. Thank y'all all for being here with us. It's been quite an interesting week, I would say, so far. Just the regular household stuff going in and out, the daily grind. I guess what I'm saying is, no, it hasn't been an interesting week so far. It's actually been the exact opposite. It has been the exact opposite of an interesting week so far.
I disagree. I think we've got a lot of interesting things going on, and that's why we're doing this podcast.
Okay, well,
tell everybody about them.
When I said we had an interesting week so far, you just kind of sat there.
How interesting was it?
Well, apparently, I don't know. I can't gauge. You're not giving me any reaction, so I thought, well, maybe it was an interesting week, and then you didn't say anything, so I thought, well, maybe it wasn't.
Well, you went down the "this is an interesting week" bunny hole, and I thought you were going to produce some bullet points about why it was so interesting.
No, I thought you would save me.
Then you just panicked.
No, I just thought you'd save me.
Well, I will. And as we discussed before this podcast started, I usually bring the show content.
Oh, I got show content.
What do you have?
I do a lot.
What do you have?
It's a surprise.
Maybe you have tired podcast head because now you're doing aren't you doing 3 or 4 other podcasts or something now?
That's true.
Yeah.
I've been a guest on 2 other podcasts this week. It's a lot of talking. And this is the second one I've done with you. So that's
the second in 3 days.
And then I did my Love Letters to Kelly podcast. So this is my 5th podcast so far this week. So yeah, I guess it has been an interesting week. I started talking and then my mind just went blank. I kind of forgot where I was for a second. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, babe. But now we've spent a good 3 minutes talking about absolutely nothing. So what are we going to talk about on this podcast?
I've got some good stuff.
Well, like what? Fill me in.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, we just got through with Valentine's Day, and there was a lot of proposals that were had on Valentine's Day. So a lot of people are getting ready to plan weddings.
Oh,
So I've got some interesting stuff on that.
on weddings.
The cost of weddings, what you should start budgeting and saving for that.
Okay.
I've also got just some interesting random facts that I've picked up to talk about. You know, a lot of people find stuff incredibly interesting that other people don't care about. I've got a list of that. I got lots of lists. I got lots of stuff.
Well, people love lists.
I personally love lists. I love writing lists, making lists, crossing things off lists. It's one of my favorite things to do.
We had a special guest come to the manor today.
We did.
And we'll talk about our adventures with this special guest, a very special guest. He is very good at what he does, and he did something for us while he was here. So we'll talk about what he did, what it was, and
what it could be,
and how good it tasted.
Okay, we'll get to that too.
And if we do get to it, I think we'll have time. I don't know. It depends on that. Sometimes when you say you're going to bring something, it ends up being about 45 minutes. So I don't know if we'll have
I bring it. I don't
know if we'll have time for letters.
You slap it. You're going to give me a paper cut one day, slapping that around so hard. It makes me very nervous.
I'll slap it around hard.
It makes me very nervous when you do that.
I'll slap it around hard. That's what I'll do. Okay, so we got letters and what else? That's
stuff.
it. Okay.
Lots of stuff.
Let's jump into it.
Just trust me.
Okay.
Trust me. You know what Alan's been working on the past few days? Every day when I call him, what are you working on, honey?
Taxes.
Alan has been working on taxes longer than I've ever worked on taxes in my life. But granted, before we got married, it was just me doing my stuff. And now we've got like 15 different businesses going on. It's a lot. But I did read something that may or may not make you feel better. Most people pay taxes like they're supposed to because we're all afraid of getting audited, right? If there was no fear of getting audited, would you pay your taxes?
If there was no fear of getting audited, would I pay my taxes?
Yeah. I mean, the average American. I'm talking the universal you. Well, if you're still working on your taxes, know this. The IRS audits taxpayers with household incomes between $50,000 and $100,000, the least. So if that's you listening, podcast family, if you make between 50 and 100 grand a year, your odds of being audited are way less than everybody else's. They say you think that the 1% would be audited the most, but that's not true. The super rich people's tax returns are audited just as often as those people making about 20 grand a year. So there you go.
So most people don't get audited.
Most people don't. And I'm really surprised when I hear about people not getting away with it because they get caught eventually. They're like, I haven't paid taxes since 2005. How do you do that?
What?
You hear about people.
Who said that?
Just people, I'm saying, when they get caught.
People
finally.
you know?
I know that there is somebody that I heard.
Whoa, who?
That had.
Out on here on the podcast. Nobody listens to this. You can
heard,
say it on the podcast.
I have heard someone talking about someone who is a mutual acquaintance that they have not paid taxes.
Of ours?
I'm not going to tell you who it is on the podcast, but they haven't paid taxes for at least 4 or 5 years. But I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you get away with that.
I think that's going to catch up with them.
I think it will.
I think Mr. IRS is going to finally figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, and the thing about this person is they were getting married and hadn't told their future spouse that information.
I think I'd make
That's
her.
bad, right?
Is it a him or a her?
I'm not saying. I don't want to give away anything.
I think I'd make her sign a prenup or some kind of contract.
But if you don't know that,
yeah,
nobody's given any indication that that's the case. They just come into the marriage and, like 6 months into the marriage when everybody's still in love and happy, they say, hey, by the way, I know it's tax time and I haven't paid my taxes in 7 or 8 years. Is that a deal breaker?
I went down to meet with our tax people.
Oh, we pay our taxes, honey.
And Kelly,
trust me, I am scared of the IRS
Kelly
all day.
Mailed in the tax meeting this year. Just mailed it in. She sent me as her proxy.
Yeah, I just say, give me a list of what I'm supposed to do, and I'll do it.
Well, you don't have a list of anything. I'm taking care of all of it.
That's why I love you so much. You're taking care of all of it.
Because I take care of our taxes. That's why you love me so much.
Taxes make me a nervous wreck, but I pay them. I don't understand them. I just give whatever they say I do because I do not want to be audited. And if I do get audited, I want everything to come out smelling nice and rosy.
Oh, we are so squeaky clean.
I'm serious. I don't want to deal with
our
that.
tax people are really good.
Somebody told me a long time ago, many, many years ago, when it comes to taxes, because people get creative with deductions and things. They say if you ever get audited, if you like claim some real cuckoo deductions that you weren't supposed to take, you just pay a fine, right? You have to pay back. But if you don't declare all your income, that could get you jail time. So that person said their philosophy was declare every penny you earn, but then get a little creative with the deductions. And that way it's just a fine at the end.
Creative with the deductions.
That's what that was their philosophy.
Is that your advice?
Not mine. No.
Is that your tax advice?
No, it's not. Mine is pay whatever they want.
Do you report all your gambling winnings?
I don't gamble. I think I've gambled and won $170 one time in Las Vegas, and that was many years ago.
I was over at my dad's the other day. He said they got a couple of I don't know if they're 1099s or they're income forms that came from the casinos because him and my mom, sometimes they win big.
Well, how big do you have to win to get a form?
I think I'm going to say the wrong number, but I know it's over $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So that there were some times where they won like several $1,000s.
Wow.
So they have to report that as income.
But 170, was I supposed to report that? Because I didn't even think about it again after that.
No.
Considering how much I lost, I'm sure I was in the hole, right?
Yeah, overall.
So I didn't have to,
I don't think so.
The casino owes me money.
Yeah.
Not me on the IRS. But you know what I owe a lot to?
What's that, babe?
My beautiful skin, to BioClarity.
Boy, people have been talking about your skin too.
The clean, green skincare brand that has products that just work. The routines were made to help your skin look and feel young and healthy and glowy.
Glowy.
Using only natural and gentle ingredients, because clean skincare doesn't necessarily mean more expensive either, people. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars for these, secret ingredients that, it's just, who's doing that? Who can afford to do that? BioClarity strives to create affordable options that are healthier for your skin and the environment. They have 2 routines. The Clear Skin routine, that's for oily or breakout prone skin. The Essentials routine for normal skin and everyday use. But each routine only has 3 steps to worry about, very easy. And they have an ingredient called Floralux. When you put it on your skin, the lotion is green, but it's absorbed into your skin. And it's based and created from the chlorophyll that you find in plants that keep them, that chlorophyll is what plants need to look green and fresh and healthy. Same principle when applied to your skin. And you only find that in BioClarity. And that special ingredient helps with redness, hyperpigmentation, evening out the skin tone and texture. I love that BioClarity is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, non-toxic, paraben-free, sulfate-free, free of everything you don't want, including fragrance. And they also have 100% risk-free money-back guarantee.
So get healthier, get more radiant skin by going to bioclarity.com. And right now, for our listeners, you can save 15% off everything on their website. That's an incredible deal.
It is.
It really is. But you need to enter our code SANDWICH at checkout. So go to bioclarity.com and get 15% off everything on their website. That means everything on the website when you use our code SANDWICH at checkout.
Yeah, the sizes, I had the little sample sizes. That's what I took with us on our trip to Austin, honey.
Love BioClarity.
Throw it in my little travel bag. Good to go.
Absolutely.
Well, as I was saying, over Valentine's, we went to Austin for our Valentine's weekend. It was an extended little thing. Some people celebrate Valentine's. Some people say, a card, maybe a bouquet of flowers. That's plenty. We sometimes celebrate bigger than others. This was a pretty big Valentine's celebration for us. From a scientific point of view, though, when it comes to love is a very powerful thing. It's also considered to be a permanent neurological condition.
How so?
Well, it says love is chemistry, and it's not something that you can necessarily control. This is from eHarmony. They talked to some experts on the subject, scientists.
Okay.
They said, for example, the difference between lust and love. Lust is a temporary desire fueled by an increased release of testosterone and estrogen. So that lust lasts for a little bit, but then when you normalize and your levels go to normal, that feeling's gone.
So I know what a word for that is.
What?
Horny.
Yeah. And a lot of people, when they have that initial, we've talked about this, that initial spark and that passion, like you just meet somebody, you just want to make out all the time, that's that lust stuff, and all the chemicals and pheromones and hormones are popping off and firing. And when that stuff abates, because it will subside, you think, oh, I've fallen out of love, when you were never in love to begin with.
No.
You were in that state of lust.
You just had.
And it's confusing. It's confusing for a lot of people, because when you don't have those feelings initially, you think, well, I'm just not interested in this person. This isn't going anywhere. That's why you've got to give a little bit of time. When you think somebody's nice and you enjoy their company, you stay the course a little while, because true love can grow. And they say when you do get that true love, the brain releases this whole new set of chemicals, and those chemicals can last a lifetime. So hopefully you have that everlasting love, and maybe you found it on Valentine's Day. And if you did propose, here's the harsh reality, people. You want to have a wedding? The average cost of a wedding. Well,
let me guess.
Wait, let me just tell you.
Let me guess.
9 million proposals they estimate happened on Valentine's Day. 9 million. That's
9 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not every one of those was man-woman. There were probably some men and women, right?
Well, it's just
Does that include all of them?
I did see another statistic. It said 22% of the people that got engaged met online through a dating app. So 22% out of that 9 million.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. But the average cost of a wedding, if you got married right now, and I know you're planning a wedding, if you are within the next year or so, it would set you back what? The average cost. Some will be more, some will be less.
That's what average means.
I know.
22,000.
Close. 24,723.
Wow, pretty close.
25 grand. We'll just round up to approximately
25 grand.
Yeah, and there's a site called the Wedding Report, and it said what you should do. You know, we didn't do necessarily a budget, did we? We never sat down and said we're going to spend X amount of dollars.
No.
We just kind of, because we had a 5-month engagement, we went and we found a wedding venue. They told us how much it was going to be. We said, we're going to go find another wedding venue, because it was way too much. It was beautiful, way too much. So we found one that we were comfortable with. But we never even discussed that. And then the flowers, we didn't discuss what the budget was going to be. We just got some prices, and we were like, well, that feels comfortable. Well, how much is food? We went and tasted it. Well, this budget, this feels right. But we never sat down. But according to this website, you should set a budget and stick to it. And I don't know if I agree with, this is their recommendations, but they said the majority of the money, well, I do agree with this part, should be for the reception.
Yeah.
Right. That's the party. And they give the range from 48 to 50%, and everything's a range of like 2 to 3, 8 to 10%. So just for the sake of this, I chose the lowest percentage out of everything they offered. So it comes to 100%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So the reception, 48% of your budget. So they said that should roughly be about 12 grand.
Okay. So about half your budget should be your reception.
Right. And that's food and drink.
Food, booze, venue, right?
Yeah, that's 12 grand.
Does that include flowers too?
And that's a different price.
That's a different price?
So that seems, I mean, I guess, some people can have a backyard wedding with a barbecue, and you save a lot of money.
What about food trucks?
Whatever your reception is.
My man.
The next expense would be for the biggest expense. They said 8% should be for entertainment and music. So that's if you have like a quartet perform for the ceremony or a DJ for the reception, that should run you about 2 grand. Flowers.
That seems a little low, but.
See, they're saying these are the averages.
Okay.
So based on a percentage of the $25,000 wedding, 8% would be 2 grand. So if you had a $100,000 wedding, what's 8% of that?
$8,000.
That would be the 8%. So 8%. We're doing this based on
I didn't know if you're trying to trick me or you're really asking for the right answer.
We're doing this based on a $25,000 wedding.
Okay.
They say that the same thing for flowers, 8%. Attire, your gown and your tux and all that you pay for, 8%. So that's $2,000 for each of those expenses. $2,000 for flowers, $2,000 for gown and tux, and $2,000.
I didn't spend $2 grand on a suit. I'll tell you that.
I didn't spend that on a dress, but combined, we probably claimed close to that. The photos and videos, that should be 10% of your budget. So that'd be $2,500.
Yeah, you got to have good photos. Good
But I'm
photos
telling
are
you,
essential.
Good photos are great, but honestly, I don't know how I feel about the video. It was fun to watch it one time, but we haven't watched it since.
I've watched it a couple of times.
You have?
Yeah,
You watched it without me?
because I put it on our website.
The little one.
www.kellyallen.com.
The little edited video. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. But that one that he took to last the whole day, we haven't watched that one but one time, like the whole video.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So as far as everything else, the rest of the budget is about the same. 2% or $500 for the ceremony. So that would be to pay for a lot of people don't know you're supposed to pay the minister, especially like as a family member or something. You slip them a couple $100. You also spend $500 on the stationery, the wedding invitations.
Okay.
So expensive. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what Alan and I did. When we saw the price of stationery, wedding stationery, we said, no way. Thousands of dollars. It was ridiculous. And Alan was really good at doing, he was drawing a lot of people's, or not drawing, yeah, I guess drawing a tattoo art at the time. So you created a design for the wedding invitation. We went to a printer, had them do a cool font. We told them what to say, printed it up. It was nowhere near that much. It was that's a big way to save money there. You can also do it on your home printer.
The artists weren't cheap.
And you know what people do with your invitation? They look at it and they throw it in the trash after they write it in their calendar. So don't spend tons on that. Spend the same amount, $500 on the rings. Now, this is not the engagement ring. This is the wedding bands.
Okay.
Parking, transportation.
Wait a minute. How much?
$500 on the bands.
Oh, okay.
Most people just do like simple bands, and then the engagement ring's a lot more.
Yeah.
Gifts. I guess so you give gifts to the wedding party, gifts, that you're going to give to the little flower girls and stuff, $500. Parking and transportation, $500. And that's everything. And then they say you should set aside 8% for miscellaneous things that are going to pop up. So that'd be $2,000.
That's security.
And all of that adds up to a $25,000 wedding.
That's interesting.
So you can't do it on the cheap here. You can just splurge.
So the big takeaway is spend the bucks at the reception. All the rest of it's kind of even. So figure out what's important to you.
Exactly. And trust me, it matters on the reception. That's what people are going to remember. The wedding is sweet. But, it's just about the vows you say, and it's really sweet and how pretty you look, and that's great. But people are really going to remember how much fun they had at the reception, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I like good pictures. I like good music. I like good booze.
Yeah.
Give me some good booze options.
We didn't want to scrimp on the bar.
Good
Some
food.
people.
Give me some, no, I didn't eat anything.
We ate dinner.
A little bit.
We sat down and ate.
I didn't eat much.
Yes, you did. We had chicken and steak.
Everybody was coming up and saying hi. I didn't have time to eat.
I ate.
You ate. I ate
chicken and steak, and it was delicious.
I was saying hi to our guests.
Alan doesn't remember, but he ate. He sat right next to me.
I wasn't cramming my pie hole.
Yeah,
I was saying hello to everybody.
But anyway, we did that. So that's our little advice for you. If you're going to have a wedding, don't stress, don't sweat it. I always recommend a shorter engagement if you can swing that, only because you make the decisions and you move on. If you have a long engagement, you're going to find a dress. You're going to think, oh, I like it, but let me keep looking. And you're going to end up confusing yourself so much. Same thing with the venues, same things with wedding cakes and everything. If you have too many options, you're going to make yourself a nervous wreck. But if you I'm on a time crunch, I got to make a decision and move on to the next thing. That's the way I like to do it.
Mm-hmm. Instead of the 2-year engagement.
Hey. And, I know some people are in a position they have to wait for 2 years, and that's fine too, but I just think that's too confusing. And I wouldn't start looking 2 years out. You're really going to get yourself in a tizzy because there's going to be a new, this rustic barn thing that everybody's doing now. That wasn't a thing a couple years ago. It's
Who's doing the rustic barn thing?
Barn thing. A lot of people, the venues and the barns with the
like boho chic or something.
Yeah,
like Martha Boho or something like that.
Seen that? Don't act like you. Alan always likes to act like he's uninformed. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
It's good stuff, Dad.
I hope so. I hope it was helpful to people.
Do you need? I got some show content if you want me to do mine, and then you can do some more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is actually from a listener, because remember a while back I was asking for show content, and I said if you notice anything that things that make you go whoa whoa, or things that make you think that they're lewd possibly.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Oh, dropping a dime.
Yeah.
If somebody in your life drops a dime, call them out on it. Tell us about it. She sent me a list And people love lists,
I love lists.
She sent me a list of the list is titled "The Most Lewd Sounding Town Name in Each State."
Oh, that's fun.
These are actual town names in our United States of
that's
America.
Fun.
You want to hear some of these?
Yeah, not all 50, but.
Well, we can go pretty quick. I don't know if I'll get through all 50, but how about I'll start from the West Coast and work my way east. How about Hump Tulips, Washington?
Hump Tulips?
Hump Tulips.
I want to know the origin now. See, I want to stop and Google, but don't have time for that.
Wanker's Corner, Oregon.
That's cute.
Rough and Ready, California.
Oh.
Sugar Bunker, Nevada.
Sugar Bunker.
Dick Shooter, Idaho.
Dick Shooter?
Dick Shooter.
Quit doing that. Dick Shooter.
Cummertown, Montana. Goshen Hole, Wyoming.
The land of Goshen. That's biblical, isn't it?
Yeah, that's in a Metallica song, too. Virgin, Utah.
Well, of course, Virgin, Utah.
Three-Way, Arizona. Blewett, New Mexico. Bluit.
Oh.
Blewett.
Must be somebody's last name.
Huh. Lubers, Colorado.
Lubers?
Lubers. I used to know somebody named Luber.
Really?
Yeah, that was his name. Cummings, North Dakota. Bone Steel, South Dakota. Beaver City, Nebraska. Drywood, Kansas. Hooker, Oklahoma. Kinkler, Texas.
Kinkler.
Dry Prong, Louisiana.
Dry Prong?
Dry Prong. Wiener, Arkansas.
I've never heard of Wiener.
Cooter, Missouri.
A cooter is a turtle. FYI.
I thought a cooter was an old man.
Because in South Carolina, they have the Cooter Festival, and that's a turtle.
Balltown, Iowa. Keister, Minnesota. Spread Eagle, that's Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah. Booty, Illinois. Oh, Booty. Boody. Booty.
Booty.
Okay. Booty, Illinois. Dick, Michigan. D-I-C-K, Michigan. Okay. Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Big Bone, let's see, is that Kentucky? Yeah, Big Bone, Kentucky. Sweet Lips, Tennessee. Splunge, Mississippi.
Splunge. I just ran out of names in Mississippi.
How about Ball Play, Alabama? Mikosaki, Florida.
Mikosaki? That must be like a tribe.
Yeah, that's got to be Native American. Butts, Georgia. Sugar Tit, South Carolina.
Are you serious?
Yep. Climax, North Carolina. Short Pump, Virginia. Brohard, West Virginia. PP Township. What state is that? Ohio. PP Township, Ohio. Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I've heard of that one.
Butternuts, New York. Cozy Corner, Vermont. Is that Vermont or Delaware? This is where it gets. This is where it gets a little.
Alan is not seeing the state's name. He's having to identify them by sight. You're doing very well.
This is where it gets a little iffy for me. Bangor, I've heard of that.
Bangor, Maine.
Maine.
That's easy.
Felchville, Massachusetts. Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Essex, Delaware. Ramtown, New Jersey. Blue Ball Village, Maryland.
I can't believe you know all the states.
Well, there's one more. I can't remember which one that is.
He's identifying the itty bitty states. I can't do that.
And then Swallow Hill, that's Delaware.
I'm going to look up the South Carolina one.
How about that?
I've never heard of that.
There's all 50 of them,
That's
babe.
interesting.
How about Sugar Tit, South Carolina?
I want to know what county that is in. I'll be Googling that later.
I think my favorite one's Cooter, Missouri.
Well, Cooter, like I said, that's just a turtle.
What was that guy in Dukes of Hazzard?
There was a guy named, Cooter and Dukes of Hazzard.
And that's an expression, too. He's drunker than Cooter Brown.
I don't know who Cooter Brown is.
He was really drunk.
Apparently so.
Well, thank you, listener, for sending that in. That's very interesting.
That was interesting.
Well, there's Mary's Igloo, Alaska, and Honaunawa Napupu, Hawaii.
Easy for you to say.
There you go, babe. There's my show content.
That was good, honey. I know you love saying
Thank you.
little dirty words.
Thank
So that
you.
made you so happy.
That you did. It's funny. I like those funny words like that.
I like funny
I
words.
think my favorite was Blue Ball, Maryland.
That was it?
Well, I don't know. Either that or Cooter, Missouri.
All right.
If you're from Missouri, do you call it Missouri or Missouri?
I say Missouri, but I'm not from there.
Yeah. If you're from Missouri, let us know. Email us at podcast@kellyandallen.com.
Let us know how to pronounce it.
Let us know how to pronounce it.
I think Alan and I have been talking a lot. Being a parent is really hard. It's, not the funnest thing in the world, but sometimes, you have to do that tough love thing and getting the kids off their devices. You'd never heard so much moan and scream and griping, as when it's time to put the phones down. And we're like, we're going to start doing a thing where we all read together as a family, something just to get everybody off the phones, right? But it's not just the kids. It's us.
I monitor my own screen time. I try to do less and less every week.
But it's not just your phone, it's also the laptop.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
screen time.
That's true.
I mean, we are addicted. Just because you're not surfing on your phone doesn't mean you're not surfing on your
as we sit
laptop.
in here right now, I have 3 screens. Phone, laptop,
TV.
I have an iPad here too.
I know.
I've had all 4 of those son of a guns going
It's
at
bad.
one time before.
It's bad. And like I said, when we were out over Valentine's weekend and I'm looking at everybody, and so they're supposed to be having these romantic, moments where you're connecting, and everybody is face down staring at their cell phones. And this is actually a real addiction for people. If you find yourself panicking when you don't have access to your phone, like I've forgotten my phone at home, and I'd be a nervous wreck so I could get home to get to it. So afraid I've missed something important, and not one message, not one text. I didn't miss anything. But that anxiety you get, if you reach for your phone several times during the night, they say it's really become a psychological problem. It's becoming an addiction when you have that feeling of anxiousness and stuff. And they were talking, they did a survey of boomers and millennials.
Define a boomer.
That I knew you were going to ask that, but they asked almost 4,000 people, and 86% of millennials say they are addicted to their smartphones. 54% of boomers say they are addicted. So the younger generation more addicted, but at least they're admitting it. And I guess that's half the battle. Are they doing anything about it? I don't know. But then I was like, okay, I hear this term boomer getting tossed around so much. What is a boomer? Well, I looked it up.
After World War II, right?
Boomers were born
45 to 65.
Well, that's close. 44 to 64.
44 to 64.
That's very good. You're very good. So that means as of this year, they'll be ages 56 to 76.
Yeah, we got to know who boomers are if you're in marketing.
Yeah, well, I'm not. But ages 56 to 76, so 54% consider themselves addicted.
Mm-hmm. So these would be some people like our parents' age.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think our parents are addicted. My mom does enjoy it.
My mom's not. I tell you what, there's no way I'd get a hold of my mom on a cell phone. Forget it.
Yeah, she'll text back like days later.
Oh, she'll leave the house, doesn't take her phone. She'll come over to our house, doesn't have her phone. I mean, you can't get hold of her.
But you know what? That's refreshing almost.
No,
I know it's frustrating for you.
I wish I was like that.
Yeah, it's frustrating for someone who's trying to get a hold of someone, but to live a life where you're not chained to your phone.
She doesn't care.
That's really refreshing.
Now, my dad,
like that.
He's pretty connected.
Yeah.
He's pretty connected.
Yeah, he's a mean online solitaire player.
He's either really hot or really cold though. Either he'll text you right back or you won't hear from him for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just depends on if he's at the casino and if the phone is in his front shirt pocket. Because that's where he keeps his phone.
Yeah.
He goes no case, phone in the front shirt pocket.
Well, millennials, of them, 86% say they're addicted to their smartphones. Millennials were born between 80 and 94. So as of this year, they'll be between the ages of 26 and 40.
Okay.
Now, you and I, they didn't.
No, we're the lost generation, babe. Gen X. We're always
Gen X.
lost. We're always.
Well, millennials were actually considered Gen Y. I don't know why they suddenly started calling themselves millennials.
They
were Gen Y.
We're always crammed in there between the boomers and the
millennials. But we are Gen X. So we are 65 to 79. That's the years we were born. That means as of this year, Gen Xers are 41 to 55. And then, after that, you've got the Gen Zs,
What's Gen Z? I've heard of that, but I can't remember.
So it's boomers, then Gen Xers, then Gen Y, also considered millennials. And then Gen Z is 95 to 2015. So this year they're between the ages of 5 and 25.
So our kids are all Gen Z.
Yep, our kids are all Gen Z, but I don't know what comes after
So
Gen Z.
do we have a definition of Gen Z?
1995 to 2015.
I understand, but like, what's their bit? What do they do? Well, I mean, we know all millennials eat avocado toast, but what do all Gen Zers do?
Well, I'll tell you what they are noticing, that this addiction to smartphones, because it is starting at such an early age, that certain parts of the brain are not developing as they're supposed to.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a really big problem, I think, for this generation, because I think what they're saying,
like talking,
communication skills, but there's certain parts of the brains that aren't developing. Because they've done studies on it, and they say it doesn't necessarily show initially. So when you give a child, a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, an iPad, and they are like little whizzes, and you think, my child's a genius. Look at them on this iPad. They can navigate it, swipe, and all this stuff. But there's a certain part of their brain they're not developing because they are so focused on that device. And the problems are starting to surface when they're like in first, second, third grade.
Mm.
Because that's when the skills the parts of their brains that should have developed when they were young. I don't have the study in front of me, so I am talking out of my butt right now. But they say when they get to school and they're supposed to be learning, there's certain milestones they're supposed to hit with their education. They're not being able to hit them because there's a part of their brain that didn't develop properly.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a source on that?
I don't. I was just repeating what I'd heard something else. But it makes, I was talking to somebody else about, they were going to take their kids to Disney World, and they had a 4-year-old and 2 other children who were a toddler and an infant. And I was like, the babies are, and maybe that 4-year-old might not even remember the experience, but I think having a baby exposed to happy things and fun things, that's a big part of their brain development too,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't remember it. So, so you should do fun things with the kids like that, even when they're babies, right?
Versus give them an iPad.
Versus that. But I'm like, taking them on an expensive trip. I used to say, well, that's a waste of money to take a kid to Disney World if they can't remember it. So wait until they're 5, 6, or 7 years old even.
Yeah.
But there's benefit of doing things like that, I think, with brain development too.
Yeah, I think just common sense will tell you that. I mean, they're interacting in a different environment, seeing new things, experiencing new things. They might not be able to tell you years from now, like how fun the ride was, but they're learning all the time, right?
Yeah, well, it's in that joy and the happiness that you're feeding off the parents too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done studies on, babies who aren't touched and held and coddled and loved on, that they develop real issues when it comes to,
Mm-hmm.
intimacy and affection, and can have some serious emotional and behavioral problems. So love on those kids and take them to Disney World. I guess that's the moral of that story.
People aren't meant to be alone.
Well, that's true.
That's why we have prisons.
But you have to be okay with being alone. That doesn't mean,
No, alone for a long time.
Right. You have to be okay with being by yourself and being good with that. But I think it's important to have somebody to share stuff with, to share life with, to share a podcast with.
Agreed, babe. We agree on that point.
Thank you, honey. Well, we also agree on something else.
Oh, okay.
Alan and I love our figs. No, we are not medical professionals.
I love them. Actually, I really do.
Alan and I were just talking. These are the most comfortable joggers that we have ever worn. We're talking about what color do we want to order next.
They look nice too.
They are meant for medical professionals, but hey, if you just want some comfortable joggers, we recommend figs. We all agree that nurses, dentists, doctors, medical professionals, they are awesome people. And we could all talk about somebody that's done something really great for us in the medical community, right? We all have a story about a doctor who is really great to us. And those people deserve to feel amazing in the clothes they wear, not those scratchy, uncomfortable, unattractive scrubs. Figs is an amazing company making scrubs stylish and functional for the people who deserve it most. These scrubs are infused with antimicrobial properties. They control odors because they're working really long shifts, right? They're ridiculously soft, moisture wicking. They've got 4-way stretch. These figs are made with yoga waistbands, which added comfort, and they come in a variety of styles. Now, Alan and I, we love the joggers, but they also have the classic straight legs, the skinny styles, anything you want. Every time you shop at Figs, they also give scrubs to healthcare providers in need around the world through their Threads for Threads initiative. And to date, Figs has donated hundreds of thousands of sets in over 35 countries. And if you want to say thank you to a medical professional who's done something really great for you or a member of your family, Figs gift cards are available too.
Fig gift cards.
Yeah.
All right. So whether you're one of the awesome humans that works in healthcare or someone that wants to say thanks to these deserving folks, Figs is going to make that easy by providing you with 15% off your first purchase by using our code SANDWICH. So get ready to love your scrubs. Head to wearfigs.com. That's wearfigs.com and enter our code SANDWICH at checkout. Love figs.
I know you do.
I really
I just
do.
washed them and took them out of the dryer tonight.
All right, babe. Here at the Manor today, we had a very nice gentleman stop by our house. His name is Mike. And Mike happens to be I like to call him the master chef. He is the master chef at our restaurant that we talked about last time. It's called Oaked, OAK''D. And Mike and I were talking one day, and he said, I think it was maybe that I said, hey, do you think that we could get a sandwich on the menu that's a barbecue sandwich, and let's call it a sandwich and some Lovin'? If Kelly and I are going to be
that marketing brain
that's
being put
right.
to use.
If we're going to be part of this thing, can we get a sandwich on the menu? He said, absolutely. What do you want on it? And I said, you know what, Mike? The only thing I want on it is bacon. But we'll ask Kelly what she wants on the perfect barbecue sandwich.
Well, you know, being from South Carolina, that means pulled pork. We do pulled pork barbecue, and on our pulled pork barbecue sandwiches, we put on coleslaw. And so that was my two things. I said, if it's going to be a pulled pork sandwich, you have to have coleslaw.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have a bit of a reputation. In fact, I'm teased quite a lot for my love of sausage. I know this is hard to believe, that I was the sausage eating champion at the Ennis Polka Festival a few years back. Yes, I ate more sausage than anyone. I went into that competition thinking, I don't want to win this competition. I was doing it, they were having like the local newspaper guy, TV people, and me there. I was like, that'd be embarrassing to beat all these men in a sausage eating contest. But you know what happens? When they say go, the spirit of competition kicked in. And I won that sausage eating contest. So guess what?
What?
This sandwich has sausage on it.
It does. It does. So Mike came over and he brought all the ingredients that Kelly requested and then some. And he built us a prototype, a sandwich and some Lovin' barbecue sandwich.
With sausage.
With sausage. So
and bacon.
So here's
everything.
Well, first of all, tell everybody what you think.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too. It was really, really good. But here's what it had on it. Mike came over, he had all these ingredients. He put together this sandwich using an artisan black and white seeded bun.
Yeah, it's got black seeds and white seeds on it. So it's really cool.
It kind of had a little
tiny
sweetness to it. Yeah.
And it's not like a sweet bun, but
no,
it's
no.
like just a hint of sweetness. It was good.
Of course, it had oaked smoked pork butt, very tender. It had jalapeno cheese sausage.
See, so you need that sweet with the spicy. It was a really nice combination.
Oaked house smoked bacon. So you got 3 proteins on there: pork butt, jalapeno cheese sausage, and the smoked bacon. And then he topped that with Carolina sauce, which I had
mustard based.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Carolina barbecue is mustard based sauce.
Is it mustard or vinegar based?
It's mustard based. It's got vinegar in it.
Oh, okay.
It's a mustard based sauce.
Okay. It had apple cider coleslaw because Kelly wanted coleslaw on it. And then he put all this together and he stuck one of those sandwich flags in it with
a little pickle.
With pickles as a garnish. And on the top of that little stick was a sandwich and some Lovin' flag.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So cute.
So it was a lot. I don't know why I thought that was so fun.
It was cute. And it's going to be on the menu. And Mike was talking to us. Another thing, a lot of people are like, we've talked about this before on the podcast. We're meat eaters. But this is all ethically sourced meat. He's very particular about where, we get the meat. So all the pigs, all the cows, they've been treated ethically. And we're going to eat them.
Yeah, we're going to eat them.
At least there's that. So.
No, but he's real serious about that.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people throw around farm to table, but I think the companies that he's working with, it's my understanding that they're the best ones in the industry, and they provide the best meats, and they, like Kelly's saying, treat the animals as ethically as they can.
Yeah, they're treated well
to bring
on their
them
time.
To bring them to market.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. So a Sandwiches and Lovin sandwich is going to be on the menu whenever the restaurant opens this spring. They're working towards that right now. So we'll keep you posted on that. We'd love to have, we talk about having another podcast family get together. Why wouldn't it be at this fabulous barbecue restaurant when it opens?
That's half the reason of us getting involved. We're going to have parties at this place.
Amen.
We're going to have all kinds of parties at this place.
A lot of good stuff.
But
and you know what they're going to be known for? It's good food and good service.
That's right.
You don't always get that.
But you can follow Oaked at OAKDBBQ on Instagram.
Yep.
And you want your mouth to water, go look at some of those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy, yum, yum, yum. But yeah, thanks, Mike, for coming over today and doing that. We are super excited. And
we had enough to make more sandwiches later for leftovers.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'll post
Appreciate that.
I'll post some pictures.
Yeah. But, speaking of, like I said, customer service is so important. It's a lost art for them, and because they haven't started hiring the wait staff and stuff yet, but that's coming. But you see, I started off working in restaurants, retail first and then restaurants. And man, I busted my butt, and I did, you do everything you can as a waiter, because guess what depends on it? Your tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think customer service is becoming a lost thing too, because I think, like with a lot of waiters, they're like, fire me, I'll just get another job waiting tables.
You think so?
Right?
Do you think that that's true?
I know, because of Big Al with his situation in the restaurant industry, he'll just have people just not show up.
Yeah.
So when I was working in the restaurant business many, many years ago, I'm talking like I moved to Atlanta in 1990. So around that time, we all stayed right there. We had the same core group of waiters, and we loved working with each other. And when somebody got a better opportunity in another restaurant, they were like, y'all come on and go with me. And we'd all kind of travel in a little group, and it was good. But I don't know if the times have changed.
I don't know, babe. I think they have changed. I mean, business is so competitive. Customer service used to be something that companies were like, oh, we've got really good customer service, that's why you want to use us. Today, it's like it's a given. You've got to have good customer service. And if you don't, man, you're going to fail. Well, you're going to fail miserably.
Well, you think that. Well, look at retail places. They're starting to fail too. And they said, retail help has gotten really bad.
Well, my point exactly.
And they said that the reason it continues to stay bad is most people don't complain. They said very few wronged customers, only about 5% will file a formal complaint. Most of us just decide it's not worth our time. But top management at most retailers, they are generally concerned about incidents where service falls short. They're eager to correct the problem. So they're suggesting that you overcome whatever it is holding you back from filing that complaint, make the call, write the letter, send the email. But see, I've struggled with that because I have been victim of very poor customer service where I was so mad. I was spitting mad, and my daughter was right there with me. It was just wrong. I felt like it was injustice. And I'm sitting there as that lady is blatantly lying in my face, my daughter as my witness, and she's lying to me about, what had just transpired. And I was so mad. I came really close to filing a complaint, but I didn't, because I'm like, if that woman loses her job, then I'm going to feel guilty. And so I didn't, and I let that go. But was that the right move to make? Because she went out and probably did the same thing to other people. When's the last time you filed a complaint?
Filed a complaint?
A formal complaint against bad customer service.
I usually just take it up with the person who's giving me the bad service.
You really do?
Yeah. Yeah, I told you that story about the person at the airport restaurant, and she was giving me the attitude, and I asked her, why are you giving me an attitude? I'm your customer. And then she kind of realized that she was giving me attitude. She goes, you know what? I'm really sorry about that. I'm having a bad day. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that you're having a bad day. We made up right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I took it up with her. I wasn't being an a-hole. I just said, hey, why are you giving me an attitude? I'm your customer. And she goes, wow, yeah, you're right. Yeah, seriously. Remember me telling
that was
you
also
that?
affecting her tip. I do remember that. It was
Yeah.
affecting her tip. That retail lady didn't care.
Exactly, it was affecting her tip.
And a lot of people go like online and they'll write a nasty review about bad service. I don't know how effective that is, because do people take the time to go and write a positive review online, or when
Some
you're really
do.
mad?
Yeah, some do.
Well, some people do. I think the majority, when you're so mad and you're so angry, you just want to go type it out on a Yelp review or something. But I think sometimes, how effective is that really? I don't know. But to call the department store manager and say, look, Karen in the handbags department flat out lied to me, blah, 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 blah. Well, and then you have to give your name, your number, and all that stuff. And I just don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, if the manager is getting a bunch of complaints about the same person, he might do something. But if he's getting one rando complaint, usually they're
From that Kelly Raspberry.
Usually they're not going to.
She's never happy.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on the company. If they, like I said, if they really understand customer service and they care, that'll be important to them. Look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has differentiated themselves from all the fast food places because of that service they have.
Well, we looked at that survey recently, and they're actually the slowest when it comes to the wait times. Remember that?
Yeah, slow and customer service are two different things.
But they make up for it with their person. They're very personable. They always say,
everyone says my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Because of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, and so there's something about the experience. So, and the food is good too. So it's, you might be frustrated. You've waited in line longer than any other fast food establishment, but you still go back because they treat you very well.
It may be slow, but compare your experience in a Chick-fil-A versus a McDonald's.
So who's handling the customer service department of a Sandwich and Some Lovin'?
The customer service of a Sandwich and Some Lovin'?
If somebody has a complaint about the podcast, where do they file that complaint, or where do they register?
Well, they can send us an email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and usually if it's something I don't agree with, I'll just tell them to put an egg in their shoe and beat it.
Yeah, that's not good customer service. I thought
the
customer is always right.
That's not what I do. No, the customer's not always right. No.
But you have to make them feel good about the situation afterwards and turn that frown upside down, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So you just know that if you're handling, if you're sending any emails to the podcast, they're going through Alan Evans.
Mm-hmm. I screen those.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
And I see the ones you deem necessary.
That's right.
Did you say you had some more listener mail you wanted to get to today?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, babe. You got some letters. We haven't done letters in a while.
It's been a couple of podcasts.
Yeah, a couple of podcasts. Let's see what we got here. Because that one podcast where we did all listener mail.
Yeah, but I love that.
We had so many. Okay.
The more mail we do, the more mail we get, right?
That's right.
You can I can write a letter.
You can always send us letters to podcast@kellyandallen.com. Oh, I just heard the water running. I was wondering what was going on there.
I think my daughter's taking a shower.
Okay, here's one from Mitzi. She says, "Hey, Kelly and Alan. Wow, this is an old one. This is from last year.
Oh no, we're just getting to it?
Right before the new year. I hope y'all are having a great time between Christmas and New Year's."
Eesh.
Sorry, Mitzi. Random question. I remember a time back y'all talked about.
I hope it wasn't an urgent question.
Y'all talked about Alan snoring and how a certain device you purchased really helped. Would you mind sharing with me what that device was? I'm in dire straits. I love my husband and I want to sleep next to him, but I fear it's taken years off my life in terms of lack of sleep. It's taken years off his life too, Mitzi. Shoving earplugs in all night long, noise machines, flipping him over, etc. has not done the trick. I would so appreciate your help. You might be saving my life in my marital bed with this information. Y'all take care, and thank you so much again.
I tell you, we get so many emails about this thing.
This is a problem that a lot of couples have. Mitzi, the device that I started with was, I've tried everything over the counter. I mean, everything. The little nose things you put in your nose, the breathe right strips. I had a throat procedure done.
Yeah, he had like these rods put in his palate. That's what you first did when I first met you.
Yeah, I mean, I tried everything.
It was bad.
I finally found a mouthpiece that was called a Snore RX, and it's one of those boil and bite mouthpieces.
It was $99.
$99,
and we thought it was working.
Yeah, it worked for a little while, but it just it didn't stop the sleep apnea. It stopped the snoring, but it didn't stop the sleep apnea.
And some people, that $99 fix will do it. And, I think it's always worth a try, right? So, because the other option is a bit more expensive, but just because you snore does not mean you have sleep apnea. And just because you don't snore doesn't mean you don't have sleep apnea. So if you're always waking up restless and tired, and you might need to get that checked.
But the snoring is just the noise. The apnea is the not breathing. So that's what you got to get your husband to get fixed, because that will take years off his life. It causes high blood pressure. It causes all kinds of different health problems.
And lack of sleep. You don't even realize how many times you're waking up during the night.
Yeah. But I don't know if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but I work with a dentist. Her name's Suzanne Thai, Thai, and she has a practice in Corinth, Texas. It's called Swisher Dental. And
it's just up the road, just up 35.
It's not too far, but she made me a custom fit mouthpiece, and it has completely stopped my snoring and my sleep apnea.
If Alan goes to bed without putting that in, and he'll lie to me, I'll say, because he'll fall asleep so quickly. I'll say, Alan, do you have your mouthpiece? And then I hear, here we go. He did not put his mouthpiece in. Alan, do you have your mouthpiece in? So finally, about that third time, because you immediately go back to snoring, and it doesn't, unless you're wearing it, it doesn't correct the problem unless you wear it.
Yeah, you got to have it in.
You have to have it in your mouth.
But it works great. And then if that didn't work, I'm glad it did, because if that didn't work, then my only thing I could do is a CPAP machine, and those are super sexy, But they help people that have that problem. So
yeah,
there you go. 3 different options: SnoreRx, custom mouthpiece, or CPAP. Let's see here. Here is a message from Leah. She says, "Dear Kelly and Alan, I would love to gush over how much I love Kelly, how she's a role model of mine. And when I tell people about the things I heard her talk about on the podcast or radio, I say, my friend told me. I'm pretty sure I love Kelly more than she loves Brittany."
Oh, that's so nice. What's wrong with that? Why are you acting?
What am I? Chop liver? I mean, nothing.
You're too needy. See, that's the thing. People sense you need it, and that's not attractive.
Oh, so they're snubbing me on purpose?
Right. I don't beg for it. I just receive.
There you go. Not to drag out the story, but I know you like some details. I have 2 kids, a 6-year-old girl, a 2-year-old son. I dated my ex for 5 years. Then we were married for 8. It was the type of relationship where I kept thinking, when we get married, it will be better. When we have kids, it will be better.
Yeah.
Okay. After counseling and basically living separate lives for the past 2 years, I finally filed for divorce, and I'm happily single after 6 weeks. So here are my questions. Both. How long after your divorce did you wait before you started seriously dating? Alan. How long were you single before you started dating Kelly? Both. What is a good waiting period before looking to date or get on dating apps? Thank you so much for taking time to read my letter. I've listened to every podcast.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Very best customer right here, babe. But I will be back and listening to your episode with dating app tips and taking notes. I hope I find a partner and have a relationship as wonderful as yours. Signed, Leah.
All right, Leah. My experience is very different because I was divorced and I had an infant who didn't know if mommy was home when she was asleep or not, right? So I thought I was going to be by myself. Nobody was ever going to want me because I was 40 years old with a new baby. And actually, I ended up dating and having just a blast. I had a live-in nanny because of my work situation. And so when Emma Kelly would go down at night and she slept through the night, I was able to go out and date. But I didn't introduce her to anybody that I dated because there wasn't really any terribly serious relationships. I think before Alan, I introduced her to 2 men. One, she didn't even know I was dating him. She just thought he was a really good friend because he was always just kind of around. So she saw him as a friend. I introduced her to 1 man that I was dating, and then Alan. So you had a rule that you had to wait 6 months. You and your ex had a 6-month rule before you introduced someone to the children. I think we waited for you to meet Emma Kelly about 2 to 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, something like
We
that.
got serious pretty quickly, but we still respected the arrangement he made with his ex-wife and waited the full 6 months. But that's not the question you were asking. You were asking how long to wait to date. Um, whatever I think is whatever you're comfortable with. You have to. I don't think there's a steadfast rule that you have to wait 3 months to date. If you're feeling it and you're out and somebody's attractive and asks you to go to dinner or whatever, great. I think that's important and healthy, but don't introduce them to the kids until it's a very serious relationship, because then you'll just end up with a string of men in and out every day that comes over to pick you up. That's confusing for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
What was your take on that?
Well, gosh, I'm trying to kind of remember. I just remember, well, to answer one of your questions, it was about a year and a half. I was divorced before I started dating Kelly. So within that year and a half, I dated a lot too.
You got to get that out of you. You're going to go crazy. When you first get divorced, you go a little crazy, right?
Yeah, like that's the first time I had dated in forever, and I was single again, and first time in forever. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun, At first, it's fun,
Yeah, because I
but
think you're trying to prove to yourself that you're still attractive and you're still able to get out there and do it,
it
right?
was, yeah, it was fun, but it was also, I think I've talked about this kind of on some of the podcasts. It was fun, but the more I did it, it was almost like the lonelier I got, because it was just date after date after date of, you meet somebody nice and then something would go wrong, or you meet somebody and you thought things were going well and then they ghost, or you meet somebody and they were totally like not what you thought they would be, and I just had all these different experiences, and it was frustrating. And honestly, if I were to think about my own self back then too, I was not in a place where I was ready to jump right back into a relationship anyway. Because
Yeah.
I met some very, very nice ladies that were very attractive, had great jobs, were very normal people, and I was the one that was kind of wheels off.
So if I had met you a year earlier, if I was one of your earlier dates, it might not have worked
It
out
might not
because
have.
you weren't in the right place.
Yeah, and I've also told this story. By the time I met Kelly, I had almost given up. I thought, well, okay, here's 2016. I'm just going to put myself on a dating app and see what happens. But if nothing happens, I'll be fine with that. So I finally accepted. Okay, I'm fine by myself now. But if I meet somebody, that's great too. So I didn't have really high expectations, of anything in 2016. So it was funny when I met Kelly. Our first couple of dates, they were fine, but I had been on so many dates that weren't fine that I was just happy that the dates that I went on with Kelly, the first couple, were nice. They were just nice, normal dates. I was thinking, wow, this is really pretty easy. This is great. And then we just started dating after that. We've told that story before.
And I think one of the mistakes I made, right after my divorce, and I think a lot of women and maybe some men are guilty of this, that I was still so angry from the divorce. I wanted to go out on dates but what you end up talking about is your ex.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up dumping on your date about how horrible your ex is, and we've all moved past that. But at the time, and I'm just sitting there, and as the words are coming out of my mouth, I know this is the stupidest. Why am I doing this? And I'm looking at his body language and reading his face, and he's like, oh my God, is she going to talk about this divorce all night? Well, yes, I was, because I could not stop myself. It was like just word vomit. And I had to learn some lessons, and it was hard. Don't talk about your ex. Don't talk about the divorce. Don't talk about, how bad, whatever it was. But you're going to have some really sucky dates because of stuff like that. You got your dating legs back, your sea legs, right?
And I think they want to know a little bit about your past. If it were me, I'd want to know a little bit about your past. But I'll tell you what a guy doesn't want to know. He doesn't want it to turn into some counseling session.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. I don't want to hear about all that stuff. I'm just trying to get to know you. If you want to tell me, I was, my ex-husband, we were married 10 years or whatever, or 5 years, whatever.
We're divorced now.
And we're divorced now, and you have this many kids. And that's fine on a first date. But don't start telling me about all the
he was running around on me with the next door neighbor. Blah, blah. They don't want to hear that.
All the things you hate about him. You can tell me that stuff later on. But
right. But good luck. I hope you have fun. But yeah, you'll know when you're ready, because right after my divorce, I wasn't really ready. You're kind of depressed for a minute. You need to And then after a while, your girlfriend will drag you out and you'll see somebody you think's cute in the bar. I'm like, oh, he's cute. I wouldn't mind making out with him in the corner for a minute. You know how it is.
But the one thing I could tell you about those dating apps, though, is be real with yourself. Like, if you want to get out there and date a bunch of dudes, fine. If that's what you're gonna do. If you're true to yourself and you're like, okay, I'm just doing it for fun. Okay, then it's fine to go out on a bunch of dates. But if you have that attitude, don't be upset if you're not able to find a guy and kind of get into a serious relationship. Because if you're just out there having fun, there's guys out there to have fun with. If you want a relationship with somebody, there's guys out there who want to have a relationship. But you have to have that mindset going in. If you want a relationship with somebody, you're going to have that mindset going in, I think. If you just go out there and say, I'm just doing it just to get some free dinners and date and drinks and whatever, fine. But don't be upset later on when you go through a bunch of dudes, So
you mean sleep with them?
Yeah, because
that's what Alan's trying to say in code.
Well, because there's guys that do the same thing, and
yeah.
I know them. I know guys that do that. I mean, they're bitching about, well, I can't meet anybody because this one's nuts or this one's crazy, but
they'll sleep with all of them.
Oh yeah, but
yeah, you got to be real careful with that, ladies, because you don't want that. And a lot of women will say all men want to do is sleep with. I didn't have not one man in my experience, and I don't know if it was just because they weren't interested in sleeping with me or not, but I didn't have to fend anybody off. Because I don't know, was it the way I presented myself? Or was it my profile? You got to look at those kind of things.
Yeah. All right, babe. Well, we might have to bring it home for Jerome here. Is there any parting thoughts you want to talk about?
Well, we do need to say one more thing. We were talking earlier about taking the kids to Disney World or theme parks. Spring break is coming up for a lot of people. And so maybe you're thinking about a theme park vacation. Well, I just found out about this really incredible group called Undercover Tourist. And you need to know about them if you are planning any kind of theme park vacation, because they can save you so much time and money. With Undercover Tourist, you're getting the exact same tickets to theme parks that you know and love for less money, and there is zero catch, no catch. You save up to $145 on each theme park ticket. That is a huge amount of money, because if you're like us, a family of 6 now, if you could save up to $145 times 6, that's close to $1,000 in savings that you can put toward other things. But also with Undercover Tourists, they can also get you discounts, bundling tickets with hotels and car rentals. So it's just savings on top of savings. They've got 20 years they've been doing this, an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, over 1 million app downloads for their Orlando Wait Times app, because there's so many theme parks besides just Disney World in Orlando. But anyway, they have free park plans, what to do when, saving you 4 hours a day, not standing in line, zigzagging across the park. And that's really priceless. That's what Alan and you use their app to kind of navigate, okay, the wait times on this and that, so you can plan your time wisely. Undercover Tourist, could not recommend them highly enough. Remember, the exact same theme park tickets for less money, no catch.
Undercover Tourist is the trusted name for theme park tickets. So start planning your next theme park vacation now by visiting undercovertourist.com/sandwich. That's an additional discount using sandwich on top of the big savings already offered through Undercover Tourist. So once again, that's undercovertourist.com/sandwich.
And prepare to be amazed.
That's right.
Because you look back at how much you spent on tickets at other theme parks and be like, what? I could have saved that much money? Yes, you can. And there's no catch. I love Undercover Tourists. I wish we'd found out about them earlier.
Hey, another vacation thing real quick, and then we'll bring it home for Jerome. I haven't told our listeners about what I'm doing over spring break. I don't think I've mentioned that.
Have you told me what you're doing over spring break?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Hashimoto's, babe.
I'm telling you, I'm having a rough week.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm having a rough week.
Babe.
I do know what you're doing. Now I know. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I've told you several times.
I know.
Showed you pictures. And
I know. I remember now.
Yeah.
Because, see, I'm not going. That's why I kind of like, I'm working on spring break. So Alan's going to take the kids on a special adventure.
So, guys, I am renting an RV, a big one This one sleeps 5 people.
Now, remember, Alan wants to use our retirement money and sell the house and live in an RV at the end of this career we have. So this is a little a test run for you.
It's a test
run. See
run.
if you really, really want to do that.
See how in I am. So originally it was just going to be me and the boys. And then I told my mom and dad, their grandparents, about this. And now they want to go with us too, which to me is awesome because my dad can help drive. He can spell me when we're driving.
And your mom can do all the cooking.
And then my mom likes to cook, so she can help us with that part of it.
It'll be a big adventure.
But yeah, it's going to be an adventure. I think we haven't come up with a definite plan yet, but I think we're going to go west and maybe go through Lubbock, where I went to school, show the boys tech. But then the more vacation part would be to see the Big Bend area in Texas, where the mountains are. I've never been down there. And then maybe go to New Mexico and take the boys to White Sands Monument, and then also Carlsbad Caverns. I think that's kind of what we're thinking, but
and map it all out.
We could go anywhere, but I am so excited about that.
I'm so excited for you now that I remember you're doing that.
That is going to be a blast. The boys are so pumped about. They just want to sleep in the RV. They want to sleep in. It has a bed like above the cab. It's a double, like 2 people can. And they both want to jump up there. So it should be interesting. I think there's two queen beds and then 1 pull-out bed.
Okay.
So my mom and dad, obviously, they'll get one of the big beds, and then the boys will probably get the other, and I'll probably get the pull-out bed.
Hey, that's what you got to do. Are you going to have the rule no number 2 on the RV?
That's going to be hard with 5 people, because I tell you who's going to number 1 and number 2 every morning like clockwork is the kid.
That'd be you, not your kids. You
can set my watch to that. So
that's the truth. I wish I was as regular as
you. Yes. So yeah.
But yeah, that's got to be a rule. That's like on tour buses and everything. That's like a hard and fast rule. Nobody does that on the bus.
Well, where are we going to do it?
You pull over to a fast food restaurant.
Oh.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, well, what am I saying? I've done that many times.
And are you going to shower on the RV?
It's got a shower. It's got a shower, a bathroom. It sleeps 5. It's got a refrigerator, a stove, air conditioning, has a generator. So
does it have a TV?
I don't know if it has a TV. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
because when Alan and I went on an RV date, an RV expo day, we looked at all those fancy RVs, from the really budget ones to the luxury ones that Alan's dreams of one day. So I'm glad you get to go. I will miss you. I will hold down the fort in your absence, and I'll be waiting for you with open arms when you get back.
So send me some ideas if you have any, guys. We're really open, but we're thinking, it has to be kind of the surrounding states to Texas. We're not going to go to.
Yeah, you only have like 5 days.
Yeah, we're not going to drive to D.C. We're going to stay close to Texas.
Yeah, it's a real quick spring break trip. So that's the plan. That'll be fun.
That will be fun.
I can't wait to hear about it.
And tell them about Mexico real quick, and we'll sign off.
Oh, yeah, we're planning our podcast family vacation to Mexico. We're going back to the Valentin Imperial. Our vacation planner extraordinaire, Judy Nuri, she has come up with the exact same package we had last year, which is all-inclusive. It's all adult resort, and it has the transportation from the airport to the hotel and back to the airport again when it's time to go home. And the package she's got from July 7th through the 11th is only $15 more than it was the same time last year. So if you go to kellyandalan.com/vacation, there's a form you can fill out if you just want to get information about it. If you want to hold your spot, it only costs you $100 just to get your name in there, your spot reserved, so we can get that guaranteed low rate on the rooms.
All inclusive.
All inclusive, and it's great.
Adults only.
Adults only, no kids. You know what? If you have kids, that's great. There are other resorts for you. But if you want an adult vacation and just let your hair down and have a great time, and we've developed relationships with people that we think are going to last a lifetime. And a lot of those same people are going back, and we've got some new faces going this year. We're excited to meet. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Buffoonerous Maximus.
Yep.
Buffoonerous Maximus.
Have a good time.
Dropping dimes, bouncing quarters, wearing Speedos.
Maybe you'll do a little magic.
I'll do some magic.
Maybe I'll get a new bikini for this year.
Kelly's going to be wearing a tea back.
I won't be doing that.
Why?
Oh, nobody wants to see
People
that.
want to see you in a tea bag,
Nobody wants to see that.
especially me,
No.
running down the beach.
In slow motion.
And then I'll put my camera in slow-mo. We did that one time. We did that bit.
Uh-huh.
You weren't in a tea bag, but
And it won't be the next time either.
but you were bounce with it, bounce with it. Bounce.
I was. I was a good sport. That's when we were first married, and I was a real good sport.
All right, babe. Love you desperately.
I love you too.
Gone a little long here, but you know.
It's okay. We got it all in.
So it's what we do sometimes. I love our listeners desperately. I love Mexico desperately. I love Oaked desperately. And I love that barbecue sandwich desperately. But I'm sure we'll podcast again real soon. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich. Especially a barbecue sandwich. Bye.
Plug it one more time. You ain't gonna be guilty of not plugging it.
Nope. That's what I do.
All right. Oh,
Thank you, Mel. Appreciate you, Mel, saying that.
My papers, what she said.
She said I'm not chopped liver. See, Mel believes in me.
I believe in you, honey. Why do you say that?
I'm just doing a bit. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what we got here, guys.
Do I need to accept this? Look at this. It keeps popping up. A new printer on your network. Add the printer to Google Cloud. Do I do add to Cloud Printer or don't show it again when it pops up?
I don't know. I don't do that. I'm not sure. You could ask ED. ED might know. Engineer Don. Is it raining again?
It's going to rain all night.
Good night. Thank you, Mel. Mel's very nice. If you ever want your self-esteem boosted, just talk to Melanie Lansford. She will help you with that. Hold on, guys. I can do here. Do a little Google Drive action here. Just stop talking. It's gonna be pod 14. Okay. That is uploading. Yeah, that's true, Gunner. Better than snow. Mel said that she said hello and she says she loves you.
I love you.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Sin. Oh, you got a flat tire, huh?
Was that Sin from Austin?
Yeah.
Well, that stinks. What am I going to call this podcast? Sandwich and some, what? So random. What's tonight's title going to be, guys? Sandwich and some.
We had a lot of different topics.
Yeah.
We had
the wedding stuff.
Wedding,
the millennial smartphone addiction stuff.
Mike making the sandwich.
Lewd
sounding city names, and then letters. I mean, we did a lot of stuff.
What do I call it? I wish I hadn't gotten myself into this pickle, you know.
Oh no, it's good.
But a sandwich and some what?
It's branding, babe. I'm not entirely sure. A sandwich and some barbecue. A sandwich and some weddings, barbecue, and letters.
Can I see you when you're typing that?
Mm-hmm. Don't pick your nose.
Well, we can't see y'all, but y'all can see us.
Yep. Okay, guys, there. I'm done with that. Larry's doing good. He let's see. when we were in Austin, he had to go to the spa, so he stayed at the spa for a few days, and he got a bath, and then he got his anal glands expressed. He got that done.
He has his anal glands expressed more than any other dog on
He
the
gets his
planet.
anal glands expressed like I brush my teeth. I mean, like all the time. I'm not sure what's the deal with his anal glands, but yeah, but he's doing fine. I think he's in another room sleeping. Probably he's either doing that or pooping upstairs.
He was sleeping when we came in.
He could be pooping upstairs.
He's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael said, "Don't get expressing your anal glands and brushing your teeth mixed up." Good. That's a good point. It's a good call. Definitely don't want to do that. Well, yeah, Kelly, she said something just the other day, and I agreed with her. She goes, Larry's been doing pretty well. He's not gone in the house for so long. And I said, well, that's because we crate him all the time. when we're not here, he's in his crate. And then sure enough, I go upstairs to do something in the boys' room, and Dylan is in there with me, and he's like, Daddy, what is that on the floor? And I look at it, it's like a petrified turd. It'd probably been there for 3 or 4 days.
Well, we had a lot of rain, so I think he just, I don't know.
And then here's what Kelly says. Well, we had a lot of rain, he didn't want. So instead of going out the doggy door, he decided
It's rainy out there.
He decided to run all the way upstairs and poop in the boys' room. So, yeah, that's what he did. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Good night, Carolyn. Thank you for being here.
Like Carolyn Marks?
No, Carolyn Stuples.
Oh.
Carolyn Marks. You ever seen Carolyn Marks on this thing? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Maybe it was her first day.
Where is Carolyn Marks? Is she even
in Colorado?
Yeah. I hadn't seen Carolyn in forever. Is she going to be at the kids thing?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
What am I supposed to wear to this thing?
Oh, just whatever. It's like Marfa, Texas stuff.
I don't have any Marfa, Texas stuff. Can I wear like a straw cowboy hat?
Mm-hmm.
What about a vest without a shirt on?
Uh-huh.
What about assless chaps?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wear assless chaps. Assless chaps and a Levi's denim vest. Shirtless. Yeah, night out in Marfa. No idea what to wear. No idea. Seeing you're going to the Marfa thing? Or you're going to Marfa, Texas? We're talking about this fundraiser we're going to, and it's like Marfa Boho Chic or something.
It's like that, Marfa, Texas with the Prada installation. So it's that kind of boho Western kind of vibe. You see all the girls wearing the flat brim hats and, artsy boho. I don't even know. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to wear a suit. So there you
go. That's fine.
I was talking to Robert. Robert said he's going to wear a vest with no shirt.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Robert and I talk.
He's not even going.
He may not. He may not. I don't know. There's kids questions, babe. You need to answer those. Being a board member, I got nothing. All mixed up. Don't know what to do.
Are they asking me? Because I've got to type. I've got to figure out this description. I'm struggling.
Come on, Evans. You're overthinking it.
I am.
Is the Rock the Runway? Michael wants to know, is the Rock the Runway thing on the kids board countdown board?
It's on kidskids.org. So you can go to kidskids.org and there should be information there, but I don't know about the countdown board. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? There's details on everything you need to know should be at kidskids.org.
There you go. I could wear that cowboy hat. You know that one I got at Sam Moon? I got that for summer, but I never wore it.
Mm-hmm.
No. I know what happened. I got you a hat as a bit, and then you didn't like it. And
Didn't look right on
I
me.
took it back, and then I got that straw cowboy hat for me for the pool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take it to Mexico. I could wear that thing to that Marfa thing.
Sure.
Boho chic, huh? A sandwich and some grab bag.
The lewdest names for each state. What is it? The lewdest.
Hold on. That a listener sent me that. The lewdest, the most. I don't think lewdest is a word. The most lewd sounding city in each state, i.e., Cooter, Missouri. Blue Balls, Maryland.
And what else did we talk about after that?
Well, the sandwich recipe, the prototype sandwich, the official sandwich of the Sandwiches and Lovin podcast. We now have a sandwich. We have a travel agent. What else do we have that's official? Okay.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm typing and thinking. I can't do both. I can't talk too. I can't type, think, and talk.
Letters. Kara reminded me we had letters. Just a couple of letters. We didn't do that many.
Listener mail about dating after divorce.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Oh, and snoring.
Snoring. And we did RV talk. Good night.
No, nobody finds toot noises funny, but men and little boys. Women don't like that. Just FYI. That's gonna be lost. That toot sound effect thing that you're hearing is gonna be lost.
What thing? What thing?
I'm just telling you, don't be mad when you can't find it. Just saying.
All right, guys.
Y'all enjoy Alan's toot noises.
That wasn't a toot noise. I don't know what you're talking about.
Show them.
No, that's one of my magician props.
Show 'em.
Don't do that.
Show them.
No, it's secret. It's top secret. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Have a good night.
The clock on the thing says 11 o'clock.